Hello, welcome to the weekly highlights program on Azərbaycan Televiziya with the major developments of this week. I'm Qocaman. Now first, let's take a brief look at some of the top stories of this week. President İlham attended the ceremony to give out apartments and cars to families of martyrs and who were disabled in Qocaman settlement of Binagede district and the inauguration of the Abşeronda Center of the Sustainable and Operative Social Security Agency. President İlham held a number of receptions. President İlham congratulated the country's people on the occasion of Eid al-Adha. The congratulatory message reads as follows. Dear fellow compatriots, I sincerely congratulate you and all our compatriots living outside Azerbaijan on the occasion of Eid al-Adha, a symbol of unity, solidarity and brotherhood of Muslims around the world, and convey my best wishes to each of you. On Eid al-Adha, which invites people to humanism, mercy and unity, Muslims demonstrate their readiness to sacrifice for the sake of truth and noble deeds and experience the joy of closeness to the Almighty Creator. Islamic civilization, which represents a significant stage of human culture, has played an exceptional role in the formation of the worldview and national cultural development of our people. Progressive Islamic traditions and moral values have always been upheld in Azerbaijan. As one of the historical and cultural centers of the Islamic world, Azerbaijan has made unprecedented contributions to the world culture and the development of scientific and philosophical thought. Dear sisters and brothers, on these blessed holidays, we remember with deep respect the fond memory of our heroic sons who died for the independence and territorial integrity of our homeland. Our people will never forget the glorious names of our martyrs, their families, and our veterans will be surrounded by the constant attention and care of the state. I am confident that the prayers for the well-being and prosperity of our country, the spirit of victory caused by the liberation of our lands and the sacrifices made with gratitude to Allah will further strengthen the spirit of national and spiritual solidarity in our society, become a celebration of good deeds, compassion and mercy. With the hope that your prayers and intentions will be accepted by Allah, I once again wish you and your families happiness, peace and prosperity and abundance to your tables. İlham Əliyev, President of the Republic of Azerbaijan. President İlham attended the ceremony to give out apartments and cars to families of martyrs and who disabled in Qocaman settlement of Binagede district and the inauguration of the Abşeronda Center of the Sustainable and Operative Social Security Agency under the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection of Population. President İlham arrived in Qocaman settlement. It was noted that 300 families of martyrs and disabled will be provided with apartments. In general, the complex has 15 nine-story buildings with 810 apartments. A kindergarten for 140 children has been built on the territory of the complex, where all the conditions have been created to ensure the comfort, recreation of children and the initial knowledge. Cars were also provided to 50 war veterans and persons equated to them. In 2019, cars were handed over to 600 people with disabilities. In 2020, 400. This year, it's planned to provide in total 150 cars. President İlham was informed about social security for the families of martyrs and war veterans, social support in the post-war period, work carried out to provide employment, apartments, individual houses and cars. Complete secondary school number 333 on the territory of the complex with 624 seats were built. The school offers all the equipment for a high standard of education. Then President İlham met with members of martyrs' families and war disabled. They expressed their deep gratitude to the head of state for his attention and concern. Then President İlham attended the inauguration of the Abşeronda Center. At the DOS Center, citizens can use 152 types of services, including services for employment, social benefits, pensions, scholarships, social and other spheres. In Unified Coordination Center, 7 structures will provide services to the families of martyrs and veterans. A mid-term ministerial conference of the non-aligned movement was held in a video format on July 13th. President of Azerbaijan, İlham Əliyev's statement in a video format was presented at the event. stressing that the 60th anniversary of the establishment of non-aligned movement being the largest political institution after the UN General Assembly celebrated this year, President İlham said the complex global challenges have further increased the relevance of the movement, as advocating for peace, multilateralism and global solidarity lies at the core of the non-aligned movement, saying that the historic Bandung principles promoting respect for the sovereignty, territorial integrity of all countries, non-interference in the internal affairs, among others, fully coincide with Azerbaijan's foreign policy priorities. The head of our state dwelt on the ties of our country with the non-aligned movement, stressed the importance of Azerbaijan at the 2019 summit of the non-aligned movement. Azerbaijan had adopted a comprehensive and ambitious action plan for its chairmanship. Unfortunately, the COVID-19 pandemic hit the world, bringing with it new realities and challenges. However, we were able to react to the new situation quickly and adequately. The summit of the contact group of the non-aligned movement was held. Moreover, a special session of the UN General Assembly was held at the level of heads of state and government on the initiative of Azerbaijan, said President İlham Aliyev. Azerbaijan has provided humanitarian and financial assistance to more than 30 countries to support their fight against the pandemic. Azerbaijan has also made voluntary financial contributions to the World Health Organization in the amount of $10 million, half of which was earmarked for non-aligned movement's member states, at the head of state, and added that the Azerbaijani chairmanship explores the possibility of setting up an institutional network for the non-aligned movement's use. Likewise, the Azerbaijani chairmanship intends to develop the parliamentary dimension of cooperation among NAM member states. The head of state also spoke about the victory in the periodic war, noting that Azerbaijan itself ensured the implementation of the UN Security Council resolutions, restored its territorial integrity and historical justice by military political means. The Nagorno-Karabakh conflict was left in the past. The glorious victory of Azerbaijan is a triumph of international law, justice and the non-aligned movement's values, highly appreciating the constant support of the non-aligned movement countries to the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Azerbaijan. The head of state perceived a resolute stance of 7 non-aligned movement countries supporting Azerbaijan's position against the attempts of some members of the UN Security Council to adopt a biased resolution without taking into account the resolutions adopted in 1993 as commitment to the Bandung principles and the movement's values. Stressing that everything is destroyed in the liberated territories and the reconstruction work has already started there, the head of state said the 5 national priorities on the economic development of the country for the next 10 years were defined, and the return of hundreds of thousands of IDPs to their homeland in dignity and safety is a key priority. The head of state said Azerbaijan will do its utmost for contributing to increasing international influence of the non-aligned movement, to strengthening solidarity within the movement and defend justice and international law.
On July 13th, President İlham Aliyev received Deputy Prime Minister of the Russian Federation, Alexei Averchuk.
Deputy Prime Minister of Russia Alexei Averchuk extended President Vladimir Putin's greetings to the head of state. President İlham Aliyev thanked for the greetings of the Russian President and asked the Deputy Prime Minister to extend his greetings to Vladimir Putin. The sides discussed issues related to the activities of the trilateral working group co-chaired by the Deputy Prime Ministers of Azerbaijan, Russia and Armenia. The Azerbaijan-Russia bilateral relations will underline the increase in trade and export of agricultural products from Azerbaijan to Russia was held at the meeting. They also discussed issues related to further improving the operation of border checkpoints on the Azerbaijan-Russian border and held the increase of transit through the north-south corridor. The sides exchanged views on prospects for cooperation in a number of fields, including in trade, economy and transport.
President İlham Aliyev received Mayor of Tbilisi, the capital city of Georgia, Kahakaladze.
Noting that Kahakaladze repeatedly visited Azerbaijan, President İlham Aliyev called the signing of the memorandum on twinning between Baku and Tbilisi a significant event. I welcome this. It's a very positive and I think natural step, because our countries are fraternal countries, our peoples are fraternal peoples, so our capitals should be fraternal too, said the head of state, and stressed that both Baku and Tbilisi are historical cities with many historical and architectural sites. Throughout the history of the South Caucasus, both Baku and Tbilisi have always been noted for their beauty, playing the role of political, economic and cultural centers. I want there to be many reciprocal visits, public representatives, media representatives, celebrities to visit each other on a regular basis, said the head of state, noting that Kahakaladze, as the mayor of Tbilisi, are making great efforts with the developments of Georgian-Azerbaijani relations, and he is a friend of Azerbaijan. Police Mayor Kakakaladze thanked President İlham Aliyev for the reception and expressed satisfaction with his visit to Baku. I've always been fascinated by Baku, its culture, traditions and people. The city is becoming more beautiful and landscape with every day, and we welcome that. Thank you again for today's visit, said Kakakaladze, expressing gratitude to the head of state for the support of the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Georgia, and added that Georgia, for its part, has always supported the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Azerbaijan.
Azerbaijan will chair the non-aligned movement until the end of 2023. The adoption of such a decision at the conclusion of the mid-term ministerial conference of the non-aligned movement organized under the chairmanship of our country on July 13th, the confirmation that official Baku has been coping with this mission with dignity for 2 years.
Peace, multilateralism and the principles of strengthening global solidarity lies in the course of the non-aligned movement, celebrating its 60th anniversary. The process is taking place in the world in recent years. Global difficulties from this point of view further increase the significance of the movement. During the midterm ministerial conference of the non-aligned movement, President of Azerbaijan İlham Aliyev, currently presiding in the organization, noted that the historic bonding principles promoting respect for the sovereignty and territorial integrity of all countries, non-interference in the internal affairs of states and other principles fully coincide with Azerbaijan's foreign policy priorities. Therefore, 10 years ago, Azerbaijan joined the non-aligned movement family.
In October 2019, Azerbaijan successfully held the 18th NAM summit in Baku, where we took over the chairmanship. In my statement at the summit, I stressed that Azerbaijan would take tangible steps to protect the legitimate interests of the NAM countries in the international arena, and to defend justice and international law.
The main purpose of the midterm conference was to discuss the successes achieved by the joint efforts of the member states and the fight against global challenges in the period after the Baku summit of the movement and the upcoming steps. In the video address of the chairman of the non-aligned movement, President İlham Aliyev presented at the beginning of the event with the participation of foreign ministers of 33 countries. It's emphasized that within the framework of its chairmanship, official Baku will continue its efforts to increase the international authority and strengthen the influence of the organization. The political declaration adopted at the end of the ministerial conference, along with topical issues on the agenda, reflects a number of items of particular importance for Azerbaijan. Thus, the member states, through this political declaration, highly appreciated the initiative of President İlham Aliyev to convene a special session of the UN General Assembly to combat the COVID-19 pandemic, and also express gratitude for the successful chairmanship in such a difficult period and the non-aligned movement, and readiness to preside over the organization until the end of 2023.
Azerbaijan has raised unified voice of the NAM and actively defended the movement's interests in all possible international platforms. Azerbaijan will continue taking concerted efforts to strengthen the solidarity within the NAM and to advance the movement's position and influence in the international arena.
The declaration also welcomes the international model of the non-aligned movement simulation exercise organized for the first time in the history of the non-aligned movement at the initiative of Azerbaijan's chairmanship. The declaration, also in accordance with the proposal of the Azerbaijani side, emphasizes the importance of post-conflict recovery, reconstruction and reintegration activities in the member states of the non-aligned movement, emphasizes the importance of effective demining activities and international support for this process, especially in the member states of the non-aligned movement, which are most exposed to contamination by landmines and other unexploded ordnance. In the political declaration, one of the most successful moments of Azerbaijan's chairmanship in the granting of Russia, in accordance with its appeal, the status of an observer in the non-aligned movement. Thus, an expression of a high assessment of the activities of our country, including the leadership qualities of President İlham Aliyev and the global initiatives put forward, as well as calls for international solidarity, is the extension until 2023 of Azerbaijan's chairmanship within the non-aligned movement, which turned into the most influential organization in the world after the United Nations. The support by the member states of the victory achieved by Azerbaijan in the 44-day war should be regarded as an acknowledgement that this event fully complies with the norms of international law adhered by the non-aligned movement.
That was all for this week. Thank you for watching us and see you next Sunday.